The popularity of an idea does not make it true. Something you hear all the time, and it could not be more true. So, it's something I wanted to touch on tonight a little bit on this beautiful night in downtown Winston-Salem. Don't worry about trying to seek group consensus for being, or not having group consensus for being unique, having a certain style and persona that defines you for you, or even a unique and controversial opinion. Because in retrospect, people will look back in history and recognize the ones who stood out, who were unique. The ones who had a conventional, mainstream, streamlined opinion will just fade into the background and the backdrop of history. They won't really be recognized for anything significant, unique, or different other than raising a family and being a good mother or a good father, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's all that you're recognized for, then you're not unique. You didn't really stand out. You weren't bold enough to be unliked. So, now that that's out of the way, I wanted to say, don't be afraid to defy consensus. Because in the end, your unique taste, style, and way of life and opinion will survive past consensus. All these opinions now, they will fade away. And a lot of unique opinions and new ways of thinking that people are bold enough to embrace will prevail. And I'll give you an example of that. Polyamorism and open relationships, which is the bulk of what I wanted to talk about tonight. Why do I want to talk about this? Well, because it's a big, huge thing that people are finally becoming brave enough to embrace now at this point of time that we live in. A lot of Christians would like to say that we're becoming more satanic, more demonic. No, that's not the case. We're just becoming less religious. Why are we becoming less religious? Because we live in a world of science. We live in a world where you can invalidate a belief that stood the test of time for thousands of years. That's just the era that we live in. So all these things that we grew up believing in and we're afraid to even question, we can easily Google and find out that none of this stuff is for real. Hey, hey! Love the hair! We can easily invalidate these things. Because in a world of science and in a world of fact-checking, we can jump right on Google and we can find out that a lot of the things that we believe don't actually have any kind of historical or archaeological validity. So therefore, why do we feel the need to hold ourselves to these things? We don't. Marriage is one of these things that we are finding out slowly but surely in a world of modern science that we don't need to adhere to anymore. Because biology teaches us that people are hardwired to not be monogamous. If evolution is true at all, and you be the judge of whether you think it's real or whether you think it's fake or whether you think it's valid, that's beside the point. But the point is, if we are related to apes and they are our closest relatives, nature biology teaches us that apes are not monogamous creatures, especially the males. And why is this? Well, it's because male apes and humans produce millions of sperm cells every day. They're biologically hardwired to spread their seed. And me and John are actually going to be talking about this in our upcoming show, upcoming episode of Is That For Real? And it will be us talking about polyamorism and open relationships and just how humans are wired. And John actually is a lot more eloquent in the way that he explains it. He is just very articulate like that. He is very good at explaining things and making complex things simple. But when you look at men, especially male apes and male humans, they are biologically hardwired to reproduce and to go around germinating their seed. This is just how they're made. When you look at women, they are biologically hardwired to seek security, to build a home, to have children, and to find a strong mate to protect them and to be able to provide for a family. So these are observations that make marriage invalid. And that's why in our day and age, I believe that marriage is disappearing, because people are finally realizing that it is a construct invented by strict religious people and applied to everyone. But to make it even more sophisticated than that, not all personality types are wired to be monogamous. At least science doesn't teach us that. If you look at Carl Jung's functions, certain Enneagram types, and even certain Myers-Briggs types and zodiac signs, you will find that some are more conservative than others, and some are more hedonistic. In other words, more inclined to give in to their sensations. And I don't think that either's wrong as long as no one is hurting themselves or each other. That is my rule. But some types are naturally more monogamous than others. Some types are more hedonistic than others. And these are things in science that need to be understood before the label of marriage is slapped on something. So, I'm definitely a believer of open relationships and polyamorism. I'm also a believer in monogamous relationships if that is truly what suits that couple. So, you know, you be the judge of that. Alright, so walking downtown, I ran into my buddy Mike. You know, Jesus, Black Jesus. Ape. Alright, so what do you think about like monogamous relationships?
Oh God.
So,
No.
I don't know.
Everyone
probably,
because even in the Bible they were.
So you can
If
be
the
like,
Bible
thank
was
you.
real,
Maybe
they weren't then.
Just
So
start
no,
talking to it. And then
I don't think they are because why would we be given the need to want more? Why would we be attracted to other people when we're already with someone?
You're right.
It's not natural.
And you know, when you think about it too, even monogamous couples go through divorces, separations, or even if their mate dies, what do? They find another mate. They find someone else.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, okay, cool, cool. All right.
I'm so dark you can't see me.
Right.
There's a black person there smiling.
Right? Oh, shit.
Here, try this.
Oh, God. Fine. What the hell is
I
this?
think that's her name. Emily.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's not bad, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Can't taste alcohol in it.
She worked at O'Brien's.
What is it?
Whiskey sour. You know, I always
Whiskey
drink.
sour. Whiskey sour,
I
bitches.
think she's like 25.
Drink them. And by bitches, I don't mean females.
We
Damn
just
it.
don't know your name
Politically
personally.
correct.
We just don't know your name personally.
Right. Shit. All right. Anyways, all right, guys. That is all for now. Have a good night.
I don't think so.
I thought of another point on my way home that I wanted to bring out. You think about all these relationships where you see cheating. Most relationships end because of cheating. Is it because we are putting ourselves up as a human race, especially men, to unrealistic and even impossible standards? You see women who value security and are hardwired that way are more jealous usually and get more upset about this than men. Men are also jealous and insecure, but are naturally less monogamous and more okay with it than their female counterparts because of their need to germinate. So it stands to reason. Is there so much relationship trouble? Because religion, popular conventional beliefs, consensus beliefs, have pushed us to impossible standards. Things that we just can't meet, but continue to be upset about. Kind of like telling a kid to jump across a pond. Can't be done. Can't be done. Maybe the problem is not people cheating, but people being stacked up to impossible standards or unreasonable and unscientific and illogical standards. All right. So, I think I'm done. All right. Thanks for watching. So the point is, don't let man-made standards define how you are happy in a relationship. If you are happy in a polyamorous, single, open, gay, whatever relationship, or a straight monogamous relationship, don't let anyone who claims to speak for God tell you what to do. Look at nature, look at science, and also try to evaluate where you feel like you fit into that equation. Have a good night, everyone.